Maybe some of you didn't know it yet, but there is a new Power Rangers video game, and it already has a release date. The new video game is called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, and already with this title there will be many disappointed fans. The Power Rangers franchise was 30 years in the making, and during all that time we got to see many different teams. Unfortunately, for the creators of video games, products, and more about the franchise, it seems that only the Mighty Morphin team exists. Obviously we all know and recognize that this team has been the most famous, but I think they can combine all the teams to make a better story. Let's continue with the explanation of the new video game, which is going to have a story a bit similar to the one we saw in the special episode to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and they are also going to include a character that was in that episode. The game is set in the beginning of the Mighty Morphin team, and Rita Repulsa is visited by Robo Rita, who comes from the future. The two are going to team up to try to stop the creation of the Mighty Morphin team, and the Rangers must stop them both. This is basically the same thing that Robo Rita wanted in the special episode. We even got to see the image of Rita Repulsa, but the Rangers managed to stop her before she can make contact with the original Rita. This game was created by a company called Digital Eclipse, which is dedicated to creating video games in the classic 90s style. This is the same style that the new Power Rangers video game is going to have. It even looks quite similar to the old video game of that era. This game is going to be available on different platforms, and its release date is December 10th, 2024. Even though the style of the game is going to be with that characteristic pixel of the 90s, the images we will see for the story are going to be like cartoons. Honestly, the drawing is going to be a bit exaggerated and will not have a realistic style, which means that they are looking more for entertainment. Possibly the idea of the creators is that it will be a simple and entertaining game, which may be quite difficult, but it can be fun to play. This is the same thing that happened with the games of that time, since most of them were quite difficult, but simple at the same time, and this was much more fun. Looking at the images of the latest trailer of this game, we can notice that they have tried to recreate everything we could see in Mighty Morphin. Despite this, we must say that the team members don't look that much like the original actors, and although they have some main features, they don't have a great similarity in general. Talking about the gameplay, you will be able to play 5 people at the same time, and this can be done offline and online. This means that you will be able to be the ranger you want, and each friend will control a favorite ranger. The interesting thing about this is that nowhere in the first preview could we see Tommy Oliver, but if we look closely we can see an important detail. In one part the Rangers are inside some carts, and each cart has the color of each Ranger. One of these carts is green, and this could mean that maybe Tommy is an unlockable player. Then when they released the latest trailer they showed us Tommy, who apparently is going to start out being the evil Ranger along with Rita and Robo Rita. We assume that we will be able to use the Green Ranger at some point, but I guess we will have to unlock him by playing in story mode. Although perhaps for some this is a bit disappointing, the reality is that this makes the game more fun and more challenging at the same time. With this game you will be able to fight many enemies and monsters, but it will also have shooting games. You will also be able to use the motorcycles, the Zords, and the Megazord. When fighting with the Megazord, it seems that it will be like a boxing match in which the screen will be in first person, and you will have to face the giant monsters. This game is going to combine different types of games from the 90s, and this is what makes it quite interesting. I think this video game is a great relief for all the fans that have been waiting for something about Power Rangers, and although it is a bit sad that we still don't know anything about the reboot, at least we are hopeful that we will be able to have something new from the franchise so we can feel that it is not completely dead. Despite all these positive things, it still leaves a bad taste in our mouths that we won't be able to get the video game we've all been waiting for in a long time. The Power Rangers format is perfect to be used in an open-world video game, and by this I mean a video game similar to God of War, GTA, and many other video games. In a game like this you could use any ranger or create your own ranger to be able to walk around the world saving other people and destroying enemies. This game does not have to have the best graphics. The important thing is that we can have the freedom to run anywhere and make our character have a great growth as a hero. Imagine a video game in which we can walk around the city and many other parts of the world fighting against many enemies. A world where we can teleport, find Zords, create our own weapons, create our own costumes and find the power we need to defeat a great supreme villain. To have a game of this magnitude you don't need excellent graphics, you just need to have the creativity to give the player the freedom to do whatever it takes. Power Rangers have always been pigeonholed as just fighters, and that is why so many fighting games have been created. In fact, this new video game may even be one of the most varied, since we will be able to use the Zords and blasters in other ways than in a fight. Let's talk about the negative and positive parts of this new video game. Let's start with the positive parts, and it is that it possibly has more positive things. The first thing we should mention is that by creating this video game it makes all of us fans who have felt sad about the pause in the franchise feel better. Another positive thing is that they have used iconic things from the series to really make it feel like Power Rangers, and by this I mean the locations, the costume design, the villains, and the story connected to the special episode. Even though we have always wanted to have a different game, we really appreciate that we can have a game with the classic style and that is focused on fun. Among the negative things we can mention that they could have involved all the Power Rangers teams creating a different story. Imagine if instead of only being able to use the mighty Morphin Rangers, we could also use any ranger from any team in the story. The last negative thing we should mention is that it feels like a repeat game, as one of the first Power Rangers video games was almost the same as this one, and I think they could have done a lot more. I don't know if they are going to publish another trailer before the release date, but I think that something negative that the publicity of this video game has had is that they haven't shown us many details about the Green Ranger. I know this sometimes helps many people to be curious about the game, but I think the publicity would have been more successful if they had involved Tommy more in the trailers. The story of the evil Green Ranger is one of the best stories Power Rangers has had throughout its history, and maybe that could have been the focus of the video game advertising. All Power Rangers fans should support this game and buy it so that companies can see that the franchise is still a good investment. Write me in the comments your opinion about this video game, like this video and subscribe for more Power Rangers video games.